everyone, welcome back. It's me, Angela. How are you guys doing today? Covered in glue already. Well, it's a lovely day. Well, I'm recording this on a Sunday and the sun has just disappeared. I've had to take off my lovely frock and put on some warmer clothes. So yeah, I thought it would be a good idea to come upstairs and share this little project with you today. Right, so here we go. I've marked the spot. Here we go. So in this little signature in the B journal where we had these pages, I have put together this little critter. And it was a lot of fun. It also involves a little bit of dabbling with some multi-medium paste. So yeah, we're going to have a bit of fun today. Now, remember when we were putting this together and gathering things, I asked you to grab a couple of pieces of music paper, 4 sheets of it. 2 we put into the journal, which I'm just going to decorate very simplistically. But the other 2 we're going to use today. And believe it or not, that is a music paper sheet. This is. Yes, it is. So that is what we are going to use today to make these pockets. So we have got 3 pockets here. You could have 4, but I have closed this one up. I thought this was enough, and I really love how this has come out. All right, you can see on the back it is a music sheet. It's just the way I folded it. All right, so there you've got a large tag. Here's 2 smaller tags. I've put on some stenciling there. This is, I'll show you in a minute. And there we've got some other little bits. These are from the labels I made a couple of videos ago. So if you haven't seen that, it's well worth it for any journal. All right. So, and this is a great one for absolutely any journal as well. All right. Now you can have it as a floating pocket, or you can put it in there. I think I'm going to put mine in over there like that. Because if it's, or you could attach it completely, or just, you know, move it over to the side and make that another little tuck spot. It's up to you, but I'm going to make one for this journal and one for the other. So we are going to make the other one together. Right, so let me move that out of the way and talk you through what we're going to do. Right, so I'm going to start with the music paper. Here's just a plain piece of a sheet of music. And what we want to do first of all is make this into a square, so even sides. The easiest way to do that, and I'm not going to fold it other than just mark it really like this with my pencil. Let's just make sure, I don't want to bend that there at the minute, but if I just get a pencil line along here, that will give me an idea, and then I'm going to cut that off. Right, so I'm using it on one of these little lines here just to make sure I'm getting that straight. Okay, so any size, as long as it's a square piece of paper. You could use, you don't have to use music paper, you can use any paper you have, any old paper, copier paper, printed, digitals, whatever you like, but I thought today I'd use this. Okay, so what I want you to do now is, and I think mine is just over 8 inches, 8.5, all right, is I want to fold this up. So I'm going to go like this on my board, only because it's got the inch markings here, and I want to leave an inch space, all right, that's 2.5 centimeters. And then I'm going to just use my thumb nail here just to line that up. It doesn't have to be precise. And I'm just trying to see over here. I think that's about straight, yeah? So you've got an inch there, and I'm just trying to line it up over there. And when you've got that, you can press it down. Okay. Where's that lovely bone folder? Right, there we go. Okay, right, now what I want you to do is, I want you to match these corners. All right, so just get that matched up the best that you can, and then fold that in half like that. Right, so now you've got this. Okay, now should have really done it this way, but it's just easier for me that way. Right, so we want to just fold it the other way now. That. Okay, and now I want you to take this. Now, before I bend it, what was important to me was if I meet that up straight there, it's not going to be quite wide enough for my large tag. So this is the large tag from my Busy Bees book. I just want to put that in the middle there. This is just for spacing purposes. Leave a little bit of a gap. Yeah, this is just to give you an indication so that when you fold this back, you've got enough space for this tag. So I can go a little bit more over like that. All right, there we go. Nothing worse than making a beautiful thing and then it doesn't fit. All right, so we went from that to that where you've got the other page there. We've measured the gap we want, the width of this like that, and then this one's going to follow suit on top of it. I'm not going to fold this yet. What I am going to do, just do it lightly, but it doesn't quite meet up. So what I did was I opened it up like that. You've got your marker line now. I'm going to take some glue and I'm going to stick it all over here. Now if you just go on the three sides like that and leave that one open, you could have an extra pocket, but I don't need an extra pocket for this project. I'm going to close mine up and then just meet those two together like that. Yeah, all right. You can also just, while you're at it, just put a little bead of glue at the bottom here, just to close that. Okay. Now while you're waiting for this to dry and before we fold it, it's a good time just to distress this. Well, we don't need to do it on the underside. We do here. You can do it here too, just that bit. Right, that's going to go like that. So go all the way down on the bottom here. That's the back. If you're going to clip it in rather than stick it in, you might want to do the back. Okay, because really you could make this a floating piece and you'd have another pocket at the back. You know, there is that. Right, so we've got that there. Now this will ultimately turn over and you can take your bone folder and just flatten that. We're not going to stick it quite yet. Okay, so that's how you make these little shapes. And as I say, you could use this as a mass make and make this in all sorts of paper. I just wanted to have a go with the music paper. Okay, so what we're going to do now is a little bit different. I touched on this when I was away at the retreat. We did a mixed media thing, so I was using napkins. So I'm going to show you a much simpler version than what I did at the retreat. I'll get to that another time, but just going to use some napkins today. So you'll need a napkin. I'm going to use a glue stick. I'm using the Ranger matte medium, but you can even use PVC, the normal white glue, and mix it 2 parts glue to 1 part water. All right, and do that in the lid of the glue or the Mod Podge. You can use Mod Podge, whatever you have. All right, so don't stress about it. You need a brush and you need a napkin. Right, so while I just show you what I did. Now I've taken a napkin and I have pulled off the underlying layers. There are 2. Most napkins have 3 layers, the printed layer and 2 sets of this. All right, now the first one comes off pretty easily. The second one, the way to get that off, the one that's quite firmly attached to this printed layer here, is just take a piece of sellotape, all right, and touch it on there, and you'll be able to pull it off really easily. All right, so that's what you want to do. Now, the way I go about it is, because I like this one because it's got a lot of separate elements, but any napkin will do. All right, so don't worry about that too much. Now, I want to take off some of these little elements. For example, I use a water pen. Now, you don't have to go and buy something like this. You can just go and take an earbud and dab it in water and do the same thing as what I'm going to do with this. It's just because I have this. All right, I don't want you going buying things. Right, it's called a water pen. That's what it's called, water brush pen. That's it. Okay, so now very carefully, I just run this around the area of what I want to take off. So I'll just show you here. All right, so it's just wet around there. It's just because it's easier to remove. Now, you can use your scissors, but what I have found, while I've done this over the years a few times, is that when you use your scissors, you get a very defined edge, and you want this feathery edge so it blends into your paper really easily. That's the reason I do it with the water. Okay, now sometimes I didn't put quite enough water, and that's okay. We just touch on it again, use the earbud, right, and just carefully remove it. And it just comes apart when you use the water really nicely. Although I didn't put much on here, I'm having to go over it. Come away now, and there you go. All right, I took off all my bits off here, but as I was showing people at the retreat, you can use different napkins and involve different elements. So here's a piece of napkin that has a lot of font on it, and I might just use a piece of that. So let's just take that off right there. Right, so we've done that with the napkin. Now what I want to do is, before I get on to the rest of the napkin, I also used my stencil. Okay, so what I want to stencil is this bit here, just that bit, all right, and this bit here. Okay, so let's start with the bottom bit. I'm using Victorian Velvet and fossilized amber. I've got my two different brushes here. I'm going to start off with this piece over here, and while I'm at it, this is what this is good for, because my mat's clean. So I've got the pink one, pink brush, and we want to go, I'm just making sure, right, it's this side. So I'm only going up to this line here, all right, so it's just the back section. I'm putting a little bit of the pink on, and then I'm going to do a little bit of the fossilized amber and blend it in the middle a bit. All right, so there's that. Okay, that will close like that, and then this one here, we're going to do the same. All right, so you've got some stenciling going on there. Right, so you've got that done. There we go. Now, again, I'm going to leave this here, just helps. Now I'm going to start putting on some of these little elements. So I have got a couple here. I've got this one, which is like a bit of a flower. Yeah. I've got this little yellow one, and I've got this little green leaf, and then I've got that little fonty bit that I'm going to stick on here. Now, you can always just check where you need to be with that, and yeah, so far so good. I might put that little bit of leaf there. I'm going to put that over there, and then I'm going to put a bit of a bee on. Right, so we've got a couple of layers going on. So what I suggest you use is one of two ways. You can use your glue stick. The glue stick, you've got to be very gentle with the glue stick. I'm just going to put a little bit on just to secure this in place, like this. A little bit further down. Not that further down. Right, so plan out your design with your bits first. Okay, I'm going to just put some glue straight on this section. Probably easier because these are delicate. And then let's see, I'm going to put that up to there. Yeah, that's better. And then we can overlap that one. Let's just lift that up, put some glue down there. And you can stick it as you go. But we're going to carry on with some sticking in a minute. Right, before I put on the next layer, I'm going to just take a little bit of this. Or like I said, you can use your glue and water mix. And just very lightly from the middle, just work your way to the edges of that napkin. This is a great way to use pages you don't like, or pages that are white on the back. That's what we were doing at the retreat. Or, you know, even coffee stain pages, anything like that at all. Now, if you've come to a bit like me here and you don't want to glue the page below, then just use this paper that you've pulled off just to act as a little guard for those ones there. And then gently, you're just going to get that all pressed down. It sort of molds itself or melts into the paper and looks like you've painted it on there, which is always a good look, isn't it? Right, for this bit over here, you can cut it off, but I'm going to just go round and stick it around the corner here. There we go. All right, so we've got that on there. Okay, I'm happy with that. Now I'm going to take this bit, and again, I just want to see exactly where this bit closes. So that's all right. I'm now going to get a little bit more of this. And then we do the little process again. So again, work from the center to the edge. From the center to the edge. Now I had my little bee here, so I got the little bee. Again, I'm just checking what's going to be visible. So I think I'll go with the bee just there. And I'm going to just, again, do the same thing. If you put everything on and you don't separate any overlapping, you get a lot of wrinkles and it doesn't blend in as nicely, I should say, as you would hope. All right, so there we go. You can carry on, but you're not going to see much of that, so I'm ending right there. Don't forget to wash the brush out ASAP, because it'll go hard. Right, that we're going to let dry for the moment, and put the glue on over here. All right, now you've got your stenciling. We're going to stick on this little bit. So I have gathered a couple of these little bits here. So these are just bits from that I was stamping. I'm looking for a pair of scissors. I've got, here they are. I thought, gosh, I've got loads of scissors and I can't see one pair. I found them, they were next to me. I'm just going to miter these corners. And this is what we made 2 videos ago. So I've got a little one of those, a little frame. I've cut out one of the bees from the stamp and some of these bits here. All right, so again, I want to take this. I'm going to just see, okay, it doesn't go all the way on. There's a bit that sticks off, so that's fine. It doesn't matter that it's going to stick over. I quite fancy that. Right, so we've got that bit on there. Okay, let's get our little clip here. All right, I don't want it all the way down, but just so that we can see what we're doing. Now, I'm going to stick this bit over there, on there like that. I quite like how the stencil is peeking through. Okay, so we've got a little stamp. These came from Field Notes, a lot of them. Really handy one. It's the first one I ever bought years ago. So we're going to get that stuck on over there. And then we're going to just take the little bee. This one wasn't on Field Notes. It was a random. I've got lots of random bee stamps all over the place. We're putting the bee on the flower. Okay. Right, so this is drying. It's almost dry. What I want to do now is I've got a little pollen. This is also one I stamped. And I'm hoping to put this onto the other side there. Right, so we're going to put it here when this closes. And it's almost dry, so I'm going to get it stuck down. Right, so I've got my glue there for that little label. And now what we want to do is just run some glue at the bottom here. That's it. All right, you can put a little bit there. And we are going to close that up like that. Put your clip on just to hold it. And that one over there, which just needs a slight move. Okay, so we've got that so far. And isn't that looking lovely? Would you say it was even a book page at this point? Right, so that's drying. I've got this lovely big tag here with the bee bows. And we're going to put that in to this bit over here. All right, so that's where that one's going, which we've already fitted for size. And then I've just grabbed two of these. These are half the size of the ones I had before. I had them left over from that last project. And I'm going to tuck those in here. So you could put whatever you have in there. And then I just took one of my circles. I've backed it with some paper and put in a little eyelet. And I'm going to tuck that in over here. Let's get it a little bit more upright. And there we have it. All done. This just needs a bit more of a distressed side. There it is. How quick was that? Where's the other one? Oh, here it is. All right. There we go. That one's completely dry. That one's drying. And there we have it. I love those, and I know that you're going to roll these off in a great mass make, these bases, and you can decorate them as well. And then just put in, you know, your bits and pieces as required. How amazing is that? Right, so that's where the one's going to go. Let me grab the other signature. And I've got lots of places here for goodies I'm going to be sticking in. So this is very plain here. So I think that's where I will put this one. What do you think? All right, so that's where I'll put this one in that signature. Okay, guys. Right, so there will be one video left for this journal, and then there'll be no more projects on this particular one. I will then do a flip through after that. Okay, so I will do something for Friday. And then I will see you with the final flip through. How does that sound? Always bittersweet, I must say. Always bittersweet. End of a journal is happy for me and sad. But yeah, sad because we won't be playing with the papers again, or we're doing another project, but I'm happy because we've finished it, I suppose. All right, everyone, thank you so much for watching. Take good care of yourselves. I am going to see you on Friday. We'll do another final little project for this. And really appreciate your kind words. Leave a comment and let me know what you think. I'll see you soon. Bye-bye.